Okay, this is the Math Playground website that you're going to be using to work on your problems today. The way to use it is obviously you'll click on the link, but then to access the problems, use the toolbar at the bottom, hit Problems, then you'll see a screen come up. We're going to hit the green button to get their database of problems on the site. And then you can see there's a lot of different categories in the pink. You're going to choose ratios. Today we're going to work on compare A problems, compare B problems, and compare C problems. The way we're going to do it is we're going to do it in groups of two. So after you complete two problems and compare A correctly, move on to compare B. Complete two problems correctly, go on to compare C. If you have only completed 6 problems, compare A, compare B, compare C, you're getting them all right, then you might not need more practice in those categories. You can go to part total or 3 quantities, or for a much higher challenge, critical thinking. For this video, I'm going to show you an example of compare A, compare B, compare C, and maybe part total. You don't need to use the blocks that are on this page. So the blocks on this page, yeah, you could build it, but a lot of people may choose to do tables instead, or with the building blocks. For these problems, you can do them in the notebook, in your notebook, and then just simply check your answers to see if you're doing it correct, because that's what's most valuable to find out whether you're doing it correct or not. In this problem, the ratio of country tunes to indie tunes on Danny's MP3 player is 4:3. Danny has 24 indie tunes. How many tunes does he have in all? Well, country tunes is 4, and he has 4:3. He has 24 indie tunes. So to go from 3 to 24, we're multiplying by 8. So you could set this up in a table. Country, indie is 4 to 3. And it's asking us about the total. So far the total is 7. If Danny has 24 indie tunes, you could just see by multiplying it like this, we're multiplying it by 8. So there's actually 2 options for this problem that people can see. If you know we're multiplying indie tunes by 8, you could just go straight to the total category and multiply that times 8, and you would get 56. If you don't have a total category in your table, then you can multiply 4 times 8 and get that is 32, and then you could off to the side add 32 plus 24, but you would realize that's 56. So you can save yourself a step, which might be valuable when the problems get more difficult to have that category, so I don't need to multiply everything by 8. I could just find what I'm looking for. That'll be helpful for, say, level 6 problems. Obviously, you could have done it in a 4:3 ratio, like country to indie as well, and then realize that the indie was equal to 24, and we would get 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, which instead of adding all this, you could realize, okay, I have 7 blocks in all that are 8, or 4 8s plus 3 8s is 7 8s. 7 times 8 equals 56. I'm going to clear the board by pressing reset. Before I do that, I'm just going to check my answer and say, yeah, it's 56 tunes. I'm just going to do a quick reset here. Oh, how do I erase? No. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to ratios. Let me do a compare B problem. The sport court donated bats and skateboards to the youth club in the ratio of 4:7. There were 44 pieces of sports equipment altogether. And then the question is, how many more skateboards were donated than bats? I'm just going to do this one with a table. You can do whatever strategy you want from here on out. Bats, skateboards in a ratio of 4:7. There were 44 pieces of sports equipment altogether, so I'm looking at total. Right now the total is 11. It says 44, so I realize that's going to be a relationship. We're going to multiply by 4. But I also realize if I don't want to find this and this, what I could look at is it says how many more skateboards were donated than bats. compared skateboards to bats, we're looking at difference. Right now the difference is 3. So if I'm multiplying that ratio by 4, the difference is going to be 12. And that's going to be the answer. And this is just a way to make your life a little bit shorter or easier if you start to understand this. Or I could just multiply this by 4, which is 28 and 16. But if you do 28 minus 16, you're going to get an answer of 12, which is the same thing we got right off the bat. So that's why I call this video making tables work for you. So you can add that extra column at the end and make your life some steps simpler, which is going to be much better when you start multiplying these numbers times like 547. And then you have to add them all up. It's going to be a lot simpler to just do that right off the bat. So if we check, it's going to be 12 skateboards. Now compare C problem, and you can start to look at the differences of them. Two numbers are in the ratio of 3 to 2. We have two numbers in the ratio of 3 to 2. So I'm going to say this is my big number. This is my small number. The smaller number is 11 less. So right now, the difference is 1. The smaller number is 11 less than the bigger number. What is the bigger number? So, well, you can see we're multiplying by 11. So it's going to be 22 and 33. So the bigger number is 33. Okay. And just to give you a quick idea of a part total problem, Jake and Evan have a collection of hats. Jake found 6 out of every 7 hats in the collection. Evan found 45 fewer hats than Jake. How many hats are in the collection? Jake found 6 out of every 7 hats in the collection. Evan found 45 fewer hats than Jake. So you would need to look at the ratios. I'm going to let you kind of play around with those types of problems. The key is to know that it's talking in terms of fractions for these. So when you see 4 out of 5, that doesn't mean a ratio of 4 to 5. 4 out of 5, I just want to explain something about fractions versus ratios right now. 4 out of 5 would be a ratio of 4 to 1, and the total would be 5. So this part would be 4 out of 5. This part would be 1 out of 5. And that could help you. You're not required to do part total for class. It's compare A, compare B, compare C, and you can move up to higher stuff if you're mastering those.